No one expected a critically acclaimed bestseller to morph into one of Hollywood's most dramatic fiascos, yet that's exactly what happened when Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively teamed up to adapt the emotionally charged novel. It Ends With Us. Enthusiastic readers hoped for a cinematic triumph that would capture the heart-wrenching themes of the book. Instead, they got a swirl of controversies, lawsuits, and rumors that may even land one of its stars behind bars. How did everything go so disastrously wrong, and can anything salvage what was once considered a dream project? The grand announcement and early optimism. When news first broke that It Ends With Us would be adapted into a feature film, fans were ecstatic. The novel had developed a passionate following, with readers deeply invested in its emotional storytelling and themes of resilience and love. Many had long wished for a big-screen adaptation, convinced that the book's raw and powerful narrative deserved more than just a typical Hollywood gloss. It wasn't just any adaptation, it was one that carried immense emotional weight, and expectations were sky-high. Early announcements only fueled the excitement. The film's production team revealed the names behind the project, and the lineup was nothing short of impressive. Justin Baldoni, an actor-turned-director known for his sensitive approach to storytelling, was set to direct. His previous work had demonstrated a deep understanding of human emotions, making him an ideal choice to helm such a delicate and poignant story. Starring in the lead role would be Blake Lively, a beloved actress famous for her striking presence on and off the screen. Her red carpet style and strong social media following made her a recognizable name, and the news of her involvement generated considerable buzz. It sounded like a match made in cinematic heaven. Baldoni had already built his reputation on heartfelt dramas that resonated with audiences, films that transcended mere entertainment and left lasting impressions. Lively, with her charm and undeniable star power, seemed poised to take on the emotional depths of the character in a way that would captivate both longtime fans of the book and general moviegoers alike. The combination of these two talented individuals hinted at an adaptation that would do justice to the novel's complexity, while still having the commercial appeal necessary for box office success. Yet beneath all the excitement and optimism, a few voices of concern began to emerge. Some industry insiders questioned whether Lively was the right fit for the role. While she had successfully portrayed charismatic and fashion-forward characters in the past, some critics viewed her as an actress more suited for lighthearted, witty roles rather than the emotionally intense and transformative journey required for It Ends With Us. The role demanded a certain gravitas, an ability to convey deep vulnerability, pain, and ultimately, resilience. Could Lively step into such a challenging role and deliver the performance fans hoped for? Some were skeptical, but others placed their trust in Baldoni's vision and directing prowess. Many believed that Baldoni, with his well-documented ability to extract raw and authentic performances from his actors, would be the key to shaping Lively's portrayal. His past projects had demonstrated his knack for bringing sincerity to even the most commercial of films. If anyone could guide Lively to tap into the emotional weight of the story, it was him. His involvement provided a sense of assurance, enough for many doubters to set aside their concerns and embrace the project with hope. But Hollywood is unpredictable, and early enthusiasm doesn't always translate into a smooth production. What started as an overwhelmingly positive reception soon took a turn as unexpected roadblocks surfaced. Questions about casting choices persisted, debates on whether the film could do justice to the novel intensified, and behind-the-scenes challenges began to make their way into the public eye. Fans, once eager and unwavering in their excitement, started voicing concerns. Could this film truly capture the essence of It Ends With Us, or was it in danger of becoming another Hollywood adaptation that missed the mark? Nobody imagined what was waiting around the corner. As time went on, whispers of creative disagreements, concerns over script changes, and shifts in production plans surfaced, adding to the growing uncertainty. The initial optimism that had surrounded the project now stood in contrast to the growing apprehension among fans and industry insiders alike. Would the film live up to the expectations set by the novel, or was it destined to fall short of its potential? That remained the question looming over the entire production as it moved forward, leaving fans eagerly waiting to see if the final product would capture the heart and soul of the book they loved so much. Creative cracks began to show. In the months leading up to production, excitement continued to swell. The mere mention of It Ends With Us was enough to generate significant media buzz and fan discussion online. Readers of the novel, who had long envisioned their favorite characters on the big screen, eagerly dissected every casting announcement and behind-the-scenes snippet. Social media platforms were flooded with speculation, fan theories, and wish lists for how the adaptation should unfold. It seemed like a dream come true for devoted fans, until troubling whispers began to circulate. Quiet rumblings started within the industry. Some crew members reportedly noted creative disagreements between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. While such discussions are common in filmmaking, insiders hinted that these differences weren't minor. The central debate seemed to revolve around tone. The novel at the heart of this adaptation is known for its devastating emotional weight, but rumors suggested that Lively wanted to incorporate comedic elements and possibly high-glam visuals that fell at odds with the book's raw intensity. To some, this signaled a fundamental misunderstanding of the material. Before long, leaked set photos appeared online, showing Lively dressed in outfits that looked more suitable for a glossy romantic comedy than a harrowing drama. Fans took to social media in a frenzy, worried that their beloved novel was being transformed into a shallow, mainstream spectacle. Concerns grew that Hollywood was prioritizing marketability over authenticity. Some placed the blame squarely on Lively, posting comments and memes mocking her penchant for comedic timing and glamorous aesthetics. Others turned a scrutinizing eye on Baldoni, questioning whether he was caving under pressure to produce a more commercially appealing film, rather than staying true to the novel's heavier themes. As discussions intensified, fan forums, YouTube breakdowns, and entertainment blogs dissected every new development. Was Lively miscast? Was Baldoni struggling to control the narrative? The uncertainty fed the controversy, making the adaptation one of the most talked-about projects in Hollywood, not for the right reasons. The growing discourse led to heated online debates, with some defending Lively's interpretation as an attempt to bring balance to the film, while others felt it diluted the book's emotional depth. Typically, a strong director-actor collaboration can navigate different artistic visions through compromise. But in this case, the friction only magnified, setting the stage for a meltdown rarely seen even by Tinseltown standards. Reports surfaced of tense discussions on set, creative clashes over script revisions, and conflicts over how certain pivotal scenes should be handled. While some close to the production tried to downplay the rumors, insiders described a growing rift that made smooth filmmaking nearly impossible. With each passing week, more details emerged, painting a picture of an increasingly fraught production. Some reports claimed that Baldoni pushed for a gritty, unfiltered adaptation, staying as true to the book as possible, while Lively preferred a more stylized, cinematic approach that softened some of the novel's hardest-hitting moments. Their differences reportedly extended beyond the tone, allegedly influencing everything from lighting choices to scene compositions. Was the adaptation meant to be a heartbreaking, unflinching drama, or a polished Hollywood drama with just enough emotional weight to appeal to mainstream audiences? The tension didn't remain behind closed doors for long. As more leaks made their way online, pressure mounted on the film's creative team to address fan concerns. Some members of the production began to distance themselves from the project, and speculative reports suggested last-minute rewrites were underway to find a middle ground. At times, it seemed like the adaptation was teetering on the edge of chaos, with every decision scrutinized under a microscope by eager fans and industry analysts alike. Despite these challenges, both Baldoni and Lively attempted to maintain a united front in public. Promotional interviews and press appearances painted a picture of creative synergy, but industry insiders whispered about deeper fractures. Could the two leads of this ambitious adaptation put aside their differences for the sake of the story? Or was this doomed to become another cautionary tale of Hollywood adaptation gone wrong? As the release date loomed, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Would It Ends With Us manage to capture the raw intensity that made the novel a bestseller, or would it fall victim to the industry's tendency to sand down rough edges in pursuit of mass appeal? Fans anxiously awaited the final product, knowing that what played out behind the scenes would inevitably shape the outcome of one of the most anticipated book-to-film adaptations in years. Clashing visions and unofficial rumblings. Insiders say the initial conflict over comedic rewrites versus faithful drama was just the tip of the iceberg. Justin Baldoni's vision leaned toward authenticity. He wanted to deliver the novel's gut-punch emotional moments without watering them down. He saw It Ends With Us as an opportunity to tell a raw, unfiltered story, one that didn't shy away from its difficult themes. Lively, on the other hand, seemed concerned about mass appeal. Some in her circle believed that an overly dark and melancholic tone could alienate mainstream audiences. They argued that injecting a touch of humor and a polished visual style could broaden the film's commercial viability, making it more accessible to a wider audience. But the tone wasn't the only point of contention. Reports from the set indicate that disagreements between the two didn't stop at the script. A few crew members described heated discussions over lighting and set design, with Lively allegedly pushing for a brighter, more stylized aesthetic that clashed with the novel's heavy themes. Baldoni, who is known for carefully curated emotional beats and a more subdued visual approach, resisted these changes. He apparently felt that the rawness of the book was being diluted in favor of a more conventional Hollywood look. Each insisted they had the project's best interests at heart, yet neither seemed willing to back down. What made this situation unique wasn't just the creative tension itself. After all, artistic differences are a common occurrence in film production. It was how quickly and publicly it spiraled out of control. Staffers on set described an atmosphere so tense that they avoided bringing up certain topics, fearful of unintentionally stepping into the middle of an ongoing disagreement. Some insiders claimed that crew members had to adjust their workflow to accommodate the shifting creative demands of both Lively and Baldoni, further complicating the production process. As tensions escalated, whispers from the set began to make their way beyond closed doors. Soon, reports of behind-the-scenes friction were circulating within industry circles, painting a picture of a project on the brink of chaos. The situation only worsened when leaked information made its way into the media, fueling speculation that the film's direction was in jeopardy. Fans, already wary after seeing leaked set photos that hinted at a glossier adaptation than expected, now had even more reason to be concerned. The press caught wind of the controversy, and entertainment journalists wasted no time capitalizing on the unfolding drama. Articles speculating on the power struggle between Lively and Baldoni flooded entertainment news sites. Some painted Lively as an overbearing starlet trying to reshape the film to fit her public persona. Others positioned Baldoni as an overly rigid director unwilling to adapt to the realities of commercial filmmaking. Social media, as expected, erupted with debates over who was in the right. Ultimately, this level of public scrutiny put even more pressure on the production. The studio, eager to regain control of the narrative, attempted to downplay the reports, releasing statements emphasizing a collaborative process and shared creative goals. But by that point, the damage had been done. What should have been an exciting, highly anticipated book-to-film adaptation was now under the microscope, scrutinized for all the wrong reasons. The question remained, could the film still deliver on its promise, or would the battle of artistic visions ultimately derail it? Legal firestorm, lawsuits and counter-lawsuits. Even the most jaded film watchers didn't foresee the lawsuit bombshell that came next. After months of mounting rumors, Justin Baldoni shocked Hollywood by filing a defamation lawsuit against Blake Lively. According to his legal team, she had maliciously spread false accounts of his tyrannical behavior on set, painting him as someone who not only dismissed her creative input, but actively sabotaged her performance. The legal complaint detailed how these accusations, allegedly spread through industry gossip and media leaks, had tarnished his professional reputation, making it harder for him to secure future directing projects. The defamation claims were eye-popping. Baldoni contended these stories had irreparably damaged his reputation, casting him as an egotistical dictator, a far cry from the empathetic figure that many fans and associates knew him to be. He also blamed these allegations for dampening the film's box office prospects before it even hit theaters. Industry veterans were stunned by the size of the damages Baldoni was seeking. This wasn't just a routine spat, it was an all-out war. The lawsuit made headlines overnight, thrusting the film's already troubled production further into the public eye. Within days, Lively fired back with her own countersuit. She accused Baldoni of on-set bullying that stifled her creativity and mental well-being. According to her court documents, Baldoni's alleged hostility created a toxic environment, effectively limiting her ability to contribute meaningfully to the adaptation. She claimed that his unwillingness to compromise on key creative decisions had left her feeling trapped and disrespected. Her legal team argued that rather than working collaboratively, Baldoni had exerted excessive control over every detail, dismissing her artistic instincts and undermining her confidence. The magnitude of this back and forth was so intense that even seasoned entertainment lawyers found themselves marveling at the speed and severity of the legal confrontation. While public disputes in Hollywood are nothing new, rarely had such a high-profile film project spiraled into legal chaos before even reaching audiences. The timing was also suspicious to some observers, leading to speculation about whether the lawsuits were genuine grievances or tactical moves to shape public perception ahead of the film's release. Fans, meanwhile, were left in disbelief. A project once celebrated for its potential to honor a poignant novel had devolved into a spectacle of competing lawsuits. Online forums exploded with heated discussions. Some believe Baldoni's lawsuit was an attempt to silence criticism and shift blame for the film's production woes onto Lively. Others sided with Lively, arguing that Baldoni's behavior on set had been controlling and dismissive, leaving her no choice but to defend herself legally. The divide among the fanbase only deepened as new details emerged. Soon, mainstream media began digging into every rumor and whisper, and a new wave of public scandal overshadowed any genuine discussion about the film's artistic merits. Entertainment news outlets began running investigative pieces dissecting the timeline of events. Anonymous sources from within the production began leaking additional behind-the-scenes tensions, further complicating an already murky situation. Every new court filing added another layer to the controversy, drawing even casual observers into the unfolding drama. As the lawsuits proceeded, both sides attempted to gain public sympathy. Baldoni's team emphasized his history of championing emotionally driven, meaningful storytelling, arguing that he had only sought to preserve the novel's essence and deliver an honest adaptation. Lively's camp, on the other hand, painted her as an actress who had merely wanted to bring nuance to the character but had been stonewalled by an inflexible director. In interviews, representatives from both camps engaged in subtle but pointed PR battles, each seeking to cast their client as the true victim of the ordeal. By this point, the film itself had become almost secondary to the controversy surrounding it. Ticket sales projections were impacted, and discussions about potential awards recognition faded into the background. What should have been a triumphant book-to-film adaptation had instead become a case study in Hollywood conflict gone terribly wrong. The question now wasn't just about whether the film would succeed, but whether the reputations of its two leading figures could survive the wreckage. With every court date, every leaked document, and every social media firestorm, the situation only grew more convoluted. For fans who had initially been eager to see it ends with us brought to life, the entire ordeal felt like a tragic irony. The film that was supposed to capture a deeply moving story about resilience and love was now defined by division, hostility, and legal strife. As the battle played out in courtrooms and headlines, one thing was clear: this was no longer just a dispute between two Hollywood power players. It was a full-blown industry spectacle, with no clear resolution in sight. The film's release and critical backlash. Amid the chaos, the studio pressed forward with the film's release, hoping that public curiosity and the novel's massive fan base would translate into box office success. Instead, audiences were greeted by something that felt disjointed and confused. Critics described the adaptation as a jarring blend of raw confessions and oddly placed humor. The scenes intended to evoke the novel's emotional depth often clashed with moments that felt like they belonged in a romantic comedy. Reviewers called out the uneven pacing and the thin development of key emotional arcs, while longtime fans of the book were especially disappointed. Many took to social media to vent their frustrations, lamenting that the adaptation seemed to betray the heart of the novel. Meanwhile, the general public, who might have been less invested in the original material, simply found the film flat and unremarkable. Box office numbers echoed this sentiment, dipping lower than even conservative estimates. Pundits pinned the blame on the relentless negative publicity surrounding Baldoni and Lively's legal disputes. Instead of focusing on promoting the film, both parties seemed locked in a battle of statements, counter-statements, and strategic leaks. As word spread of the movie's poor quality, the initial curiosity factor wore off fast. What should have been a triumphant opening weekend became an embarrassing reminder that behind-the-scenes turmoil often translates into an on-screen mess. The gag order that never was and the explosive website. With the lawsuits dominating headlines, there was talk of a gag order. According to unnamed insiders, Lively's camp attempted to silence public commentary by requesting a legal order barring both sides from making further statements. If granted, it might have cooled the temperature of this raging public feud. Instead, the court's refusal meant every daily twist and turn of the case could continue playing out for the entire world to see. The result? An almost daily feed of bombshell revelations. Tabloids jumped on every snippet they could find, magnifying each new claim or rumor. Baldoni, refusing to let the narrative get away from him, decided to take an extraordinary step. He launched a website focused solely on the lawsuit. He uploaded a trove of documents, text messages, and production emails that he claimed proved Lively had knowingly distorted events to tarnish his reputation. Fans and casual observers rushed to comb through these files. Some of the texts appeared to show Lively advocating for comedic punchlines during pivotal emotional scenes, drawing even more outrage from readers who adored the novel's heavy themes. Other messages hinted that Lively had backtracked once fans expressed outrage online. Baldoni's supporters praised his decision as a push for transparency, while critics dismissed it as a self-serving PR move designed to rally public sympathy. Whatever people believe, the website caused a sensation, further entrenching the story in daily discussions. Media spotlight: the New York Times controversy. Amid the swirl of online documentation and rumor-based articles, a New York Times feature piece suddenly landed, an article that many described as alarmingly one-sided. Lively's supporters applauded it for shedding light on her experiences, painting her as a star under siege by an uncompromising director. Baldoni's backers, however, erupted in fury, claiming the Times had cherry-picked quotes and evidence, ignoring the detailed files he'd released on his new website. Social media lit up with hashtags, think pieces, and fan-driven breakdowns of the Times coverage. Conspiracy theories circulated that Lively's team had orchestrated the piece, offering exclusive scoops to shape the narrative in her favor. Baldoni's legal counsel hinted there might have been private communications between Lively's representatives and certain journalists, fueling suspicions of behind-the-scenes smear campaign. In an industry that values reputation above almost everything else, this negative portrayal had real consequences for Baldoni. Major outlets began speculating if his directorial career could rebound from the damage, while others wondered if Lively's perceived victimhood would bolster her standing, or if being center stage in such a toxic feud would backfire in the long run. Rumors of criminal charges and Ryan Reynolds' alleged influence. As if the drama weren't intense enough, rumors began swirling that Lively might have taken things too far. Whispers suggested she or her legal team submitted questionable or doctored evidence in her countersuit against Baldoni. If proven true, that could open the door to perjury or obstruction charges, carrying the potential for jail time. While legal experts cautioned that actual prison sentences are unlikely for Hollywood stars without ironclad proof, the mere possibility sent tabloids into a frenzy. Suddenly, the phrase "Blake Lively jail time" appeared in gossip blogs and headline clickbait. Even legitimate news sources weighed in, analyzing the ramifications of such a scandal. Would the allegations stand up in court, or were they just another sensational rumor in a case already drowning in intrigue? Meanwhile, attention turned briefly to Ryan Reynolds, Lively's famous husband known for his comedic instincts. According to some production sources, Lively leaned on his input to lighten up certain scenes, which might have been part of the major creative clashes early on. Whether Reynolds' involvement was casual spousal advice or deeper script consultation remains unclear. So far, he has not been named in any official legal documents, but that hasn't stopped rumor mills from speculating about his behind-the-scenes role. Baldoni's team has remained relatively tight-lipped on the Reynolds angle, though a few cryptic hints suggest they might have receipts tying him to comedic push that overshadowed the novel's serious core. Impact on fans and the novel's legacy. For fans who cherished It Ends With Us, seeing the adaptation sink under the weight of legal and personal drama is heartbreaking. The novel's key themes, intense emotional reckoning, human vulnerability, and personal growth, appear swallowed up by comedic detours, big egos, and a relentless cycle of public accusations. Instead of celebrating a powerful tale brought to screen, audiences found themselves glued to tabloids, dissecting claims and counterclaims about text messages, leaked footage, and alleged smear campaigns. Social media communities that once buzzed with excitement about an upcoming tearjerker film now echo with disappointment. Many express regret that the project ever went to Hollywood, lamenting that the entire fiasco overshadows the novel's deeper messages. Worse still is the fear that future projects of a similar tone might struggle to get off the ground, as studios become wary of taking on emotionally heavy adaptations if they can so easily spiral into controversy. For a story that was supposed to shine a light on challenging human experiences, the emphasis has tragically shifted to bitter legal battles and showbiz scuttlebutt. Industry watchers warn that this saga could become a textbook cautionary tale, a reminder that strong source material, big names, and massive fan anticipation mean nothing if the creative team can't collaborate harmoniously. The meltdown also highlights how quickly public opinion can turn when confronted with daily revelations, especially in an era dominated by social media narratives and viral reporting. Conclusion: what comes next? The final scenes of this drama have yet to be written. Will Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively find a path to quiet settlement negotiations, hoping to protect what's left of their reputations? Or will they push forward to a sensational courtroom showdown that could expose more secrets than the film ever did? Observers say a surprise truce is possible. If both parties decide continuing the fight is too costly, both financially and professionally, Yet so far, neither side shows signs of surrender. All of this leaves a few big questions hanging in the air. Did the New York Times truly go too far in its portrayal of Baldoni, or was he the overbearing force some claim him to be? Will Blake Lively face actual legal consequences if evidence of tampering is revealed? And what if it ends with us itself? Will any future generation of moviegoers remember the film for its intended message? Or will they recall it only as a scandal-ridden flop? Hollywood is no stranger to drama, on screen or off. But the magnitude of what happened here has raised eyebrows even among those who've witnessed their share of epic controversies. As fans and curious outsiders wait for the next plot twist, one thing remains certain. This project stands as a warning that raw star power, hype, and a beloved novel are no guarantee of success if egos, lawsuits, and personal vendettas loom larger than the story itself. In that sense, the title "It Ends With Us" feels painfully ironic, because for Baldoni, Lively, and everyone caught in the crossfire, this saga is far from over. Outro. Thanks for joining this deep dive into one of Hollywood's most polarizing adaptations. Feel free to sound off below. Did the media coverage spin too far against Baldoni, or did he create his own downfall? And is there any real chance that the comedic rewrites could lead to criminal charges against Lively if the rumors of doctored evidence hold weight? Let us know your take, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay in the loop as the story continues to unfold. There's plenty more to uncover in this ongoing drama, so buckle up, because until the final verdict lands, this conversation is anything but over.